computer. Okay. And then I'm going to mute my computer and then hop on live. I'll see you on live.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to our Monday lives. So today we are going to reintroduce ourselves. Mistral is going to join us here on live. We are also recording for LinkedIn because we are so excited to be there as well. So today we're going to introduce ourselves and really line up these next 9 weeks of going through all 9 human design energy centers. So there's always a little bit of navigating technology. Here we go. Yay. So just saying how I'm excited to line up our next 9 weeks of diving into the 9 human design energy centers.
I know it is really exciting. I'm over the moon because we've already done this and we've kind of gone through the end. And now we're like, wait a second, there's so much more that we can talk about. And for those of you who are joining us new, who haven't been here before, you get to have this learning experience all over again.
Yeah, it's so exciting to get to talk about all of these centers because I know there were some pieces that we wanted to rediscuss, right? Like last week or the last time that we recorded, there were things that came up afterwards that we thought about in addition to, and I know we get a lot of DMs afterwards kind of building on this, really asking, how does it apply to me? What does this mean? Or I want to go deeper in this aspect. So we're really excited just to get to do it all again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think what both of us bring to the table is we have Jenn who really specializes like in the life coaching side of things and how to live most in alignment with your life and ways that you can show up that feel really good and like step into your power of the direction that you want to go. Maybe you're lost in your life purpose and you want to know what that is. What's your next step? And then I'm over here sort of more on the business side and looking at how to really integrate, your intuition, your body wisdom, your human design energy into how you show up and market in the online space. And that's really where the synergy of the two of us coming together, I think just really broadens and opens up space for our audience to really see how human design can really create big shifts in their lives.
Yeah, because, for everyone who has a business or is on the human design path, there is so much to utilizing it for yourself, right? Finding that alignment, living in yourself theme. But then when you start applying it to your business and your marketing and all the pieces that you do, it's really a whole different aspect. So while, yeah, they're kind of the same because you're understanding and utilizing your human design, in so many ways, they're completely different because how you utilize your human design for yourself, for your alignment, for your personal deconditioning is different than what you're going to do within your business. So, Mistral, can you tell us more like about you, about what you do, about the magic that you create utilizing human design?
Ooh, that's exciting. Thanks, Jen. I think the biggest thing that came to mind when I first started, like even going into human design, I was using this as a personal development tool to help me understand what I wanted to create. Because as an online business owner, I know I wanted to create something in the online space. I knew I wanted to have something that would help give me freedom away from the 9 to 5. But I didn't know what it was that I was going to do. And I actually used human design more as a way to find out. Um, was I going in the right direction? Did I really fully understand how I needed to show up in the online space, who I was, how I just was able to be me and get paid for it, right? And I think I was stuck for so long in these conditioned places that you were talking about where I felt I had to show up in all of this masculine energy and do all of this hustle and do cold DM reach outs and different things like that when really, that's not how my energy flows. And so learning human design from a business standpoint really showed me that the reason I wasn't having success in my business to begin with was because of not going into energetic alignment. So even though I did use human design to kind of help me tell me if I was on the right path or not, it really showed me where I was being unsuccessful in my business and how I could switch that to being successful. And that was really huge. And
Yeah.
so, like, the magic I create is the clarity, right? The clarity around, like, this is how I meant to do it. And this feels really, really good. Ultimately, that's what we want, right? Here, as these soulpreneurs or women or people who are trying to make a shift in this world. We want to share our knowledge. We want to connect with people. We want to create that rise in the consciousness. We don't want to market our business, right? And that feels really icky and stuck, and it's the old way of doing it. And that's what's so great about the day that we live in now is that we have the opportunity to literally show up in ways that feel aligned and are conducive with our energy and make us feel great and show up and see, I can't even find the words now because it's so exciting, but it's like just show up fully as you and be totally enveloped in who you are, and people will resonate with that.
Right. And that's exactly what moving into the new paradigm is all about, moving into this individual circuitry of the incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix. Like it's all about really coming into our own authenticity. And we're starting to hear about this more and see it more. But really it's simply human design, and if you follow your human design and really get into it and utilize your human design, like it's naturally going to bring you and lead you into this new paradigm, whether it be for personal or for business.
That's right. That's right. And do it in the way that's most authentic, like you said. And the biggest question I think a lot of people are asking is, well, what is my authenticity? Who am I when I'm being authentic? I've worn these masks for so long. Is this me being authentic, or is this me still wearing a mask? And that was something I really had to think about in my business. And I even had a little mini breakthrough today, actually, where I was asking myself some questions and almost doing a little bit of speaking aloud journaling around what I was creating and the fact that I'm in maybe a little bit of a pivot right now, but tuning in to what's the answer and the intuition behind that, and how do we then showcase that and bring that out. And so these little breakthroughs are what allow us to live in our intuition and in our authentic selves, and we have to be able to be open to them though as well.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I love how you put that and just apply, really that question, because I myself have thought of it. What is the authentic me? And really, every time I ask myself that question, I come back to my human design. Like, I
Yeah.
know who I authentically am because I see myself in my design, in my chart. I know that I'm a 3-5 emotional projector. I know that I have to, the 3-5 experience life, make mistakes, figure it out. It's okay to fail. That emotional authority that you have as well, Mistral, to really feel into things and give myself time and space to find emotional clarity, to find the aligned decisions. And then, of course, being a projector, making sure that I'm being that guide, being that seer, honoring my energy and how it functions as a non sacral, and the gifts of my defined centers and how I bring that out. So it's really easy, simple, you could say, to answer who am I authentically when we have our energetic blueprint that shows how we're unique and special.
Yeah. And one of the common things that I my most favorite thing that happens with clients, and I'm sure this is yours too, is just when they get so excited to be seen, to feel seen, to feel appreciated. They're like, within the first 30 minutes, I was like, how can you read me so well? How do you know me so well? I'm like, because it's your energetic blueprint. It's what's here, and it's what you've always known about yourself. But we've oftentimes had to hide behind that mask I was talking about at the start of the session. And when we have these masks that we continually wear, then we start to step away from who we truly are. And so coming back to that human design and recognizing it, it's such a gift, and it gives you such permission to let go of those masks and the limiting beliefs and the old things, the old paradigm that you've been living in and thinking about. It really allows you to step into, like, this is who I am, and I get to celebrate in that. That was huge for me. Manifesting generator, 4-1, emotional, so having the wave to ride to figure out if it's in alignment or not. But to be given permission to hold the manifesting generator energy was huge because for so much of my childhood, I was too big, too bold, too colorful, too thinking in outer space, too this, too that. And I've always been this big leader and visionary and kind of seeing the way forward, but seeing it in a way that most people were like, "You're crazy." And learning about my design, it suddenly gave me permission to say, "Oh, this is it. This is who I am. I am meant to pave this pathway. This is my journey. This is I'm meant to see things differently and do things differently and show others and inspire others to step into that belief that they can create truly what they desire in the way that feels good for them and not in a way that we've been told we have to."
Yeah, I love how you just described that. I mean, you essentially kind of outlined your personal journey with human design. And that's so much of what I lead individuals through is really being given permission to be yourself, to honor your energy, to decondition from all the things that you've been told, that you've been conditioned, that you're to this, to that, you need to do this, you need to do that, right? I was brought up in a generator culture. You need to hustle in order to prove your worth, in order to make money, in order to matter, essentially. And it's
Yeah.
so beautiful having human design to say, no, all of that is BS. And I just need to be in my energy, to show up as my authentic self, to allow my aura, my energy to do the work for me, to bring in those who can recognize me and the gifts that I have and the invitations. So that is why I really truly love leading projectors because we are so different. We're that 22% that is the newer energy type that others don't understand, especially as a five line, too. Like, I'm so misunderstood. I'm so projected onto. So it's really navigating how to personally understand that that's going to happen. It has nothing to do with me, it's just the energy. And to own it, to utilize it, in business, but also personally, to not take things personally, to know that I am a mirror for others, to just reflect that back, especially, using the centers that we'll talk about in the next 9 weeks. So it's really beautiful to decondition, to go through each of the centers, to let go of what we are not, and to really honor who we are so that we can step into our own individual power. Right. That's my mission of when we really help ourselves, when we align and do our own work, that is going to filter out into the collective. And that is how we can each individually help change the world, make the world a different place.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many gems that you shared in that last piece that I just wanted to touch on really quickly. But the big one is that it comes back to that energy and how you receive. And I love that you spoke about how you kind of can lean back and let your energy do the work. And I think, that's our body, that's our aura, that's who we are and how we bring things into ourselves, opportunities, people, connections, whatever, right? That's how we manifest essentially, right? And so when we understand our energy, like you were saying, now we get to work with it and we get to understand how you get to show up with ease and flow and grace and peace and success and surrender and all of these wonderful things that we're all seeking in life. Well, now you have the blueprint. The blueprint is your human design that guides you to be able to do that. And I just shared with a client her book that I gave to my clients so that they can kind of process and read the information that we've just like exploded on over this weird looking chart that they've never seen before. And she just wrote back saying, like, I can see this higher version of myself. I can see them. I wish I had been living that my whole life, but I'm so excited to now step into that. And it was such a beautiful message to receive that she could, if she wasn't ready, she wouldn't see it, right? But she could see where she's going and she could see what she's going to be stepping into. And that just like made me, shiver in so many ways. And the fact that she's like, she's in her 60s and she's like, I could have known about this in my 30s had I had the chance, or was I able to have that information then?
And that's what I love. And I tell everybody, especially after we do readings and, they get all this information, it's kind of overload. It's like, what needs to land for you, what you need to hear, what you need to follow, what you need to step into right now, you will here. It's really, I love that human design is so much about learning to trust. Trusting the timing of things, trusting that you are on the right path, that if something really stands out to you, it's trusting your intuition that that's what you need to hear, that's what you need to follow, that's what you need to decondition, step into, whatever it may be now. And everything else can kind of not fall by the wayside, but we can wait for all those things just to trust that those other pieces will come in when the timing is right, when you are needing that to, take the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for me, knowing my human design, getting to lean back into that is a huge relief and has relieved a lot of almost anxiety, I would say, within my body and how I'm showing up and the way that I process information now. That was also really affirming and understanding how I make decisions,
Yeah.
even, right? In life,
Yep.
business, respond to things. My husband used to get so annoyed at me when he'd be like, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want this? And I'd be like, yes, no, yes, no. But he figured out like, oh, I have to get to the yes. But if I ask questions that aren't those yes nos, right? Especially for manifesting generators and generators, we can get frustrated. We can feel silly. We can not really be able to find the correct answer or the answer that we feel is correct. Versus if we get asked those yes no questions, how much better and clearer that is for us. But when he used to ask me and I couldn't figure out an answer, yeah, it was those yes nos that he worked out pre knowing what human design was. But I like reflect on that and it makes me laugh thinking like, oh, if only we had known that, at the start of our relationship, for example, just how to communicate with your partner, with your person, with your children. I mean, there's a lot to human design that we can connect with on that, right?
Right. And not only does it benefit your relationship with yourself, but it benefits all your relationships, friendships, family relationships, intimate relationships, business relationships. But you can apply human design in so many different areas to help you. And I love that you touched on your authority and utilizing that, because that is something that I work with primarily in my coaching, is understanding, bringing awareness to, and embodying your authority so that you can make confident decisions that lead to you feeling really good, right? Especially as emotional authority, we know so well if we make decisions in the moment, we don't ride our wave, we regret them, right? This is half of the world has this emotional authority. And it's so misunderstood because we live in the world of now. No, make a decision now. Well,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I was labeled as indecisive or picky. Yes, I'm indecisive and picky, but that's because I have this emotional authority that I really need to allow myself to navigate through my feels, especially as a non sacral, right? I don't have that consistent yes,
Mm,
no. So if I tell you yes, no in the moment, chances are it's going to be the incorrect answer. So just understanding those aspects for myself, but also as I see it through all of my clients, is huge to know where and how within the body, right? Building that mind body connection, but really knowing those decisions from the body so that you can feel really good about all of the choices, all of the over 32,000 choices that we make a day.
yeah. Right? Exactly. No, I use my especially like even my responding of just like what feels good in the moment, what feels right, and using those like next aligned steps to decide what I want to eat for lunch, decide what I actually want to do next in my business. Sometimes it's a mandatory dance break. Sometimes it's write my email, right? So
Yes.
and you can use your authority and your strategy to respond in the day to know what needs to happen. I mean, there's so much I can go on about just with the manifesting generator energy, as you probably can with the projector energy, about how to show up in that full alignment just on a day. We should probably just do energy at some stage. We didn't do that. That's probably a good one. We should just maybe that should just be next week. The
Right.
energy.
I was thinking about that.
That I mean, now I got distracted from what I originally wanted to touch on. Um, but I know I'll just say this. I know that understanding my energy and understanding how I made those decisions just made my day flow so much better, which is then conducive for my feminine energy, which is also in my chart, which is also conducive for being in the now. I love to be in the now in the present moment. This is where I was going to go with this, with my decision making. Now, my friends also understand when I say, maybe I'll come to that event in 2 weeks' time because I can't decide now. I don't know if I'm a yes or a no. I can't make that decision. I need to know in the now. So usually they find out on the day. if
Yeah.
coming, which they're okay with now that they understand that's my energy and that's how I make decisions.
Right. And I really normalize that. I teach boundaries classes. And in those classes, I give people an outline of how literally not to answer in the now when they're asked a question. Let me get back to
Mhm.
you. Let me feel that out. All these things to establish healthy boundaries. You kind of need to navigate it. And maybe, something really surprising was asked of you, right? Especially if you're a reflector, like, whoa, oh, I gotta wait, especially reflectors, you gotta wait 28 days, right? To really feel that out and navigate it. So, in this kind of hustle culture where we need to know now, it's so important to know how to respond in an aligned way because it's one thing to respond or wait and, ride your
Yes.
emotional wave, but like, what does that actually mean functioning in day-to-day life?
Yeah.
um, so that's why I love helping people navigate that, especially utilizing my open throat.
Yeah. Yes. It's such a good gift for you.
So, Ms. Rao, I was going to ask you to kind of tell us about the next 9 weeks, but it almost sounds like we need to do something a little different next week to start off by talking about the 5 types. And obviously, you
Mm,
can speak so well to manifesting generator, and perhaps both of us can really speak to the manifester. I certainly
yep.
can speak to projectors and a little bit of reflectors too. So I think that may need to be our starting point next week, just so everybody knows their type, knows what this strategy thing is, knows your self and not self theme, so that then when we go into the 9 centers, we're kind of building on that.
Yeah, yeah. So grab your chart. So next week you can learn a little bit more about your energy type. And then, of course, all the centers we're going to dive into after. So if you don't have your chart, you don't know where to get it, you want to get it, drop the word chart. Jenna, I'll get back to you and make sure that you have that with you. We can support you through understanding it and reading a little bit of it. And then, of course, you can catch us live for the next couple months on Mondays to talk all about the human design system and how it's going to help you step into the next level version of yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And any other questions that come up, comment them here, DM either of us, and 3 p.m. Eastern every Monday. Mistral and I will be here going live. Feel free to tune in live. The recording will always be posted. We're going to stream it to LinkedIn as well. So if you're a business professional on LinkedIn, please find us. Please join our community, connect with us, and we really look forward to diving into all of these pieces.
Woohoo! We'll see you next week, Jen. I'm so
Bye,
excited.
Mistral. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks for joining.
And thanks for everybody on LinkedIn for watching. If you're curious about any of the things that we've talked about, let us know, and we'll be back every Monday.